Good day, good people. Before Christmas, Yvette circulated by email a link to an online survey asking people to advise about the qualities sought in the next Bishop of Newcastle. In today's paper and email bulletins, you will find this link, but you will need to be quick. It closes at midnight on Friday, the 14th of January. There's another opportunity to take part by attending a public meeting to be held online next Wednesday, the 19th of January at 7 p.m. on Zoom. A copy of the link can also be found in the paper and email bulletins. The group responsible for pulling together this feedback is the Vacancy in C committee, made up of 25 people, some elected, some ex officio. As it happens, both myself and Yvette are on this committee. Yvette was appointed in her own right. I'm there because I happen also to be on the General Synod. The bishop is the key person in a diocese. When clergy are inducted, they are told that their ministry belongs to the bishop as well. And in spite of the layers of ecclesiastical polity, I would say that all clergy feel a particular connection with their bishop. This is not always a cosy or easy relationship. One of the flaws is that the bishop is responsible for the pastoral care of clergy as well as their deployment. So sometimes one can get confused about whether the bishop should be offering advice or handing out discipline. And clergy can often feel isolated because our roles frequently require us to work alone professionally, and the bishop is not nearby. Bishop Christine only visited St. Francis once in 6 years. That's why it is a joy to have clerical colleagues like Yvette and Katie, and to be part of other networks such as East Newcastle Deanery Chapter and the Ecumenical Fraternal Heaton Churches Together. In every sense, the ministry of a bishop is like the ministry of a vicar, but on a much larger scale. Principally that it is spiritual, it is geographical, and it should have a bias towards the powerless, especially the poor, and all those who are on the margins of society. For what it's worth, I thought I would share what I think are the qualities that we seek in a bishop. I've divided my list into the 5 headings in the diocesan survey. First, under spirituality, theology and faith, I would be looking for someone with a fruitful spirituality, credible theology and a living faith. Under people skills, our hope, our bishop, might be a minister of reconciliation, of encouragement and of joy. Leadership is an obvious category for a bishop, but leadership in the church is after the example of Jesus, who washed the feet of the disciples. And so a bishop needs to be someone who can demonstrate humble servant leadership, while at the same time holding a vision and inspiring and encouraging others. Now, although we know that civilization stops at the time, the truth is that we live in a nation of growing inequality. And whilst our bishop need not be from the north, I think she or he would need to be able to inhabit northern identity and experience when speaking on a regional and national stage. And of course, we want a bishop to be practical about getting on with the job. So I think there is wisdom in appointing someone who is already a bishop and therefore doesn't have to get used to the flummery that goes with the role and can see through the flannel to connect properly with people in their contexts. Or if it is to be someone who is not already a bishop, they must hit the ground running. In that respect, they also need an eye for detail and the bigger picture. When I was exploring my own vocation many years ago, I told my director of ordinands that I thought vicars should be on the bridge of a ship, charting its route and managing the crew, whilst also at the same time in the engine room stoking the boiler. My experience tells me that this remains largely true. And whilst it might necessarily not be how secular institutions function, I firmly believe that this is the model of leadership we see in Jesus, who is the pioneer and the inspiration of our faith, and who shared the messiness of our humanity, that we might be drawn to the possibility of divinity. That's the kind of change manager we need our next bishop to be. So please, pray.